Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. The international break is finally over. The Premier League returns this weekend and Newcastle United return to St James's Park this Sunday 4:30 kickoff as we take on Manchester United. The Newcastle team, Eddie Howe and the fans, I have no doubt will be looking for a little bit of revenge this weekend after losing to them in the Carabao Cup final. I've no doubt it will be a tense game, a big game, sitting just above us in the league in third place at the moment. It's a big chance for us to get 3 points on the board, really stick our stake in the ground for where we want to try and finish this season. And as always, we will talk about all of that in today's video. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure to do so. I will be at the game this Sunday at St James's Park. I'll have the pre-match chat, the vlog, the reactions, and hopefully the celebrations after, depending on how the game goes. But in this video, we'll talk a little bit about Newcastle United. We'll talk about Manchester United. How are they doing at the moment going into this game? Eddie Howe gave his press conference earlier on today, which, to be honest, quite heavily focused around players. Who's available? Who's not available? Who's injured? Who's not up to fitness as well, by the way, because Eddie Howe spoke about that today. We'll get into that, and as always, we'll finish off with lineups and predictions as well. So be sure to let me know your prediction down in the comments for this one. Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be a win. But we'll start off with Manchester United. As I mentioned already, the last time we played them was down at Wembley, and unfortunately didn't quite go the way we hoped it would. Since then, they've been on some pretty decent form, to be honest. They are heading into the quarter-final of the Europa League. They've made it through the semi-finals of the FA Cup. They're not doing too bad in the league either, and they've already got themselves a Carabao Cup. So yeah, they're kind of coming into this one at a reasonable time for them. A lot of the headlines at the moment are about Rashford, as to whether he will be injured or not. I think Ten Hag actually said today that he believes he will be back in time for the game. We had all of this before the Wembley game. The whole conversation was with whether Rashford was fit or not. So I think they're probably trying to do it again, kind of take the media off a lot of stuff by just focusing it on, is Rashford fit? You know, don't let them kind of question anything else that's going on at the moment, because they're getting a lot of stuff about takeovers and everything else on their end as well. Let's just keep the concentration on whether Rashford's injured or not. And as I say, I think Eddie Howe's tried to put it back the other way, because a lot of what he spoke about in his press conference today was who's available for us. Now, we'll get into that. Sven Botman actually returned home early from international duty. That was said to be because of food poisoning. I think it's a bit of a 50-50 on him. I would expect that if he's fit and ready to go, that he'll play. But we also know what Eddie Howe's like, and throwing players in when they're maybe not ready. Someone who Eddie Howe didn't seem to think would be ready is Anthony Gordon. Still questions on whether his fitness is quite where Eddie Howe wants everybody's to be. He made the comments over Isak not too long ago over whether he was fit. Obviously he is. It's just whether he's Eddie Howe fit, which is up there somewhere. It's thought that Gordon may well not be available for this one. Isak has just returned from international duty today. So Gordon's done a little bit of training. Botman hasn't really trained. Isak's just returned today. So there was kind of 3 question marks hovering over those 3 players. And we will talk about them a little bit more when we get into the lineups. Nick Pope also suffered with a knockback in the Wolves game. He played through it in the Forest game, and he's done a little bit of training over the international break. So there's also questions of whether Nick Pope will be available for this one. I think he will. I think that Eddie Howe's been asked the questions, he's given the answers. Eddie Howe's not going to come out and go, yeah, our number 1 goalie's not playing or is playing. He's just trying to keep it quiet on his side of things. I think Nick Pope will play. The good news is Joe Linton, he returns after his match ban. So It'll be interesting to see, as I've mentioned, some of the players are available, aren't available, where he might play in this game. And I've missed a big one off. Someone who isn't available as well. Almiron. He's actually the big headline news of players who definitely will not be playing this weekend. He's pulled up with an injury and is thought to potentially be out for a further 4 weeks. Eddie Howe said it's not long term. 4 weeks I guess isn't that long term, but when we've got midweek games coming up, lots of games to get through in the next 4 weeks, I would say that it's longer than I would have liked it to have been. So without Miggy, Joe Linton's back. No Gordon. That was pretty much all of Eddie Howe's press conference. So we'll talk about all of that in the lineups, will we? Let's get my lineup on screen now. Yeah. I've put Pope in net. I think Nick Pope will be there. I've put Trippier at right back. I think that's pretty nailed on alongside Shaw. There was question marks as to whether Botman would or wouldn't be available. I think he's had a bug. I think by Sunday he should be okay to play. So I have gone with Botman. You let me know down below whether you think he might go with Burn as the replacement. I think if Botman plays, then Burn plays left back. Still would like to see us give Target a go again. Lewis actually, I think, played decent out there for Northern Ireland in the international break. I don't think they played a particularly good team when he had a good game, but still, Target, I think, should be within a shout of a rotation. But for this one, Dan Burns had a 2-week break. He's coming back in. I think he gets his game, and against the likes of Anthony on the wing, it will be tough. But I'm keeping the faith. Moving into the midfield, I've gone with Bruno, Willock, Longstaff, and that's because I've put Joe Linton out on the left. And then I've put Isak up top. Wilson is set to feature... Wilson is said to be fit and ready to go after having been unfit and then not trained and then has trained. I think he just pulls Isak back in. The way he's been playing, you've got to include him. Unless, because Isak's been away with international duty, he maybe starts Wilson. Wilson's still a very good player, and I don't think we should be ruling him out and saying it has to be Isak. Yeah, I can see it either way. At least if Wilson starts and doesn't do great after, I'm not scared to pull him off at half time. Get Isak on, he's the man. Or it depends where Isak is coming back from international duty. And then I've put Murphy on the right. And you're asking, and you're all screaming at the screen, Rob, where's Maxi? I just think that the Joe Linton on the left worked so well for a long time. And look, I've kind of gone with this prediction down the lines of what Eddie Howe would do. I would rather play Maxi on the right instead of Murphy. That's what I would do for this lineup. But Eddie Howe doesn't like playing players out of position of where they normally go, and Maxi always plays on. He's had the chance all season. He's had the chance all season to switch Maxi to the other side. Almiron's unavailable. Gordon's not fit. I think he'll put Joe Linton on the left. And then I think he'll put Murphy on the right instead of playing St. Max. You let me know your thoughts down below. Yeah, maybe I should have done this differently. Maybe I should have gone with what I would like. You've got to... I think that right now, Willock's been sensational. Bruno's Bruno. Longstaff's been great. And it's Joe Linton. You find space to play your best players. And the four of them are playing very well at the moment. So you find space for Joe Linton by putting him on the left. Him and Willock were great over there. Bring that back. And that's when Almiron's not fit on the right. Gordon's not fit. So do you stick Maxi over there? Yes. But I don't think Eddie Howe does it. I think he puts Murphy over there. So that's my lineup. I think it's a strong lineup. I think it's great to see Joe Linton back. I think against a Manchester United side who have been in really good form, Murphy and Joe Linton also give us a little bit more protection going backwards. But still with the likes of Isak, who can create so much space going forward, will really help. I am ripping apart the great partnership that Maxi and Isak created going forward. So That's just me. We'll wait and hear what Eddie Howe has to say. So you let me know your thoughts on the lineups down below. In terms of a prediction, I have backed it. I've gone 1-0 Newcastle. I think it'll be tough. I think we're going to have to really be on our top form on the day. I think Sundays in St James's Park aren't my favourite, and I feel the crowd and the atmosphere sometimes suffer for it as well. I think Saturday 3 o'clock is the classic. Get out early, enjoy the early match, few beers, get in St James's, get it roaring. We're going to have to get used to it though, because they've stuck pretty much all of our games, all of our home games till the end of the season on a Sunday now. So we're going to have to pick it up and make it work and hopefully push the lads over the line to a win. As I say, there's a bit of revenge wanted by the fans, by the team, by Eddie Howe. And it's in our own back garden, and we've got to make the atmosphere and push the lads onto a win. Let me know your thoughts down below on Eddie Howe's comments on all of the different players who are either in or out. And really, it's the lineup. Let me know your thoughts on that. Without Almiron, who really has kept his place, all season, with Joe Linton now coming back, do you take out Longstaff or Willock for Joe Linton so that Maxi can play, or do you pick Joe Linton over Maxi? It'll be an interesting one. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. Drop a like, subscribe, look out for the videos this weekend after we get the 3 points. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.